everybody, this is Hannah from Mother Goose's Makery, and today I'm going to be making the Legacy Luggage gift box die set from Tonic Studios. And this makes a super cute 5x7 suitcase, or you can make a slightly bigger trunk. Today's video is going to be focused on the suitcase. Trunk's going to be in a separate one, but I have to make both because these are amazing. I can imagine that there are going to be quite a few of these in my life. This big 5x7 thing, I think it's exactly 5x7, yeah, makes for the top and the bottom of the suitcase. And if you're making the trunk, the front, the back, the top and the bottom. This little piece here with a flap on one side makes for the sides of the trunk. So you're going to stack 4 of those up to make the sides. That's the lid side and the lid front. That's the base side and the base front. Here are some bits you attach to the side, like to connect bits. This makes for those nice little corners you end up with around a box with those. These bits make your latches. You've got buckles. You've got all manner of straps. It sounds like I'm doing a dungeon listing. Buckles and straps and latches. This will be all your leather work. These will be your stickers or badges. We also have more components of locks, and then we have some tags, so time for travel, road trip, and then we've got a fragile one here. Yeah, a load of amazingness in this die set. I can't wait to make the 3D handle here. That's phenomenal. It's like a proper briefcase handle with D-rings and flaps. It's going to be gorgeous. So, we're going to get on with the suitcase. So, to make the normal small on top, deep on the bottom kind of suitcase, you're going to need 4 of the 5x7 top bottoms. You're going to need 2 of the deep sides and 2 of the deep fronts. You're going to need 2 of the shallow sides and 2 of the shallow fronts. This one is actually super straightforward to put together. I think the details come in all the little details. So the first thing we're going to do is on one of the long fronts, we're going to cut off the wide glue tab. So see this big wide glue tab? Just chop that off with a guillotine so it's a lovely straight line. That's because you only need to join one bit. And then also with these, see where the corner markings are? You just need to chop one of each off. And the same with this. I'm just going to do, I'm going to grab my scissors, which I've put somewhere. I had 2 pairs of scissors just now. I obviously now have none because it's weirdly what happens in my life. I cleared my desk to make a video and then I can't find anything. So we're just going to chop off here on the crease line here. And then on the opposing side of the other one. So it's like a matching, but well, it's not like, it is a matching pair. Or an opposite pair, as it were. So you're going to want to do that. And you want the corners you've cut off to be towards the centre. And you're also going to want the lid front with the flap you cut off to be in the middle of your box. And then we're going to have the opposite on the other side. So the corners are going to be in the middle, missing corner, missing corner. So you see these 2 missing corners are together and these 2 are together. And then you're going to have a big flap there and big flap there. And then that's going to be glued underneath there. Okay. So I am going to crease all my pieces with my bone folder, and then I'm going to stick everything together. Okay. If you want to take a photo of it, this is how this is laid out. Okay, so I'm going to start off by attaching my lid back to my base. This is the one which has the other flap cut off, and that's going to be the rear of our lid. Then I'm going to attach the two sides, making sure that the corners that we've cut off are facing towards that back flap. They go towards the back of the lid. And then we're just going to attach the front flap to the other side. Now we're just going to do the same with the base of our suitcase. So this is the one with the deeper sides, front and back. So we're just going to adhere the two sides, the front and the back. And because all our pieces are the same, just make sure that the two corners you cut off are facing the same direction. Now, the instructions say that we should now glue the lid of our box to the base of our box. And if I'm honest, that would have been simpler before folding in all the flaps. But I did not do that. So I am currently gluing all the side tabs to their neighbour in order to make the sides of our boxes. And then what we do is we attach the two corners so that the corner that's at a 45-degree angle is laid on top of the corner that goes all the way to the edge. So that's the side flap glued over the top of the front. So it gives the appearance of a nicely mitered corner. So we have a lovely, nice, neat inside to our suitcase. Now we're just going to attach our top and bottom of our briefcase. So we're going to apply glue to the long flap on the base and just adhere that inside of the lid. Now, if you have followed the instructions and glued the two together when it was still flat, you obviously would not be doing this step because it is already done. Then, just to give a lovely neat finish, we're just going to apply glue all around the edge of our lid and put on an additional lid base so that all our flaps are hidden. And then we're going to turn it over and do exactly the same on the bottom, so we have a super neat top and bottom and you won't be able to see all the joins. So now to give my suitcase a slightly aged look, I'm just going to run a brown ink pad all along the edges to give it the appearance of the burnished leather you tend to get on your joins of a nice bag. You can skip this step if you want. And now it's time to move on to all the accessories. We are going to start off with the trunk latch. So that's the latch bottom and the latch top. And that's a loop. And then there's lots of spaces that I've cut out. And all this other stuff is for other stuff. So, first things first, we're going to glue the latch top and bottom, the decorative one on top, to the plain one underneath. Now the one underneath I haven't done in metallic because I'm not about to start gluing metallic card to metallic card. Well, I started doing that earlier, but I'm not doing it right now. So those two are stuck. And what we're going to do is we're going to stick together our 3 lock cavities.
They're the 3 spaces with the little notch cut out of it.
That one to that one. That one, that one. I'm just going to line it all up in one. And then what you do is you glue, that's just a space, you just glue the other one to the front. And then we're going to do the same with these spaces. So 1, 2, 3. And then we are going to want to take our hook. We have 2 of these, and we're just going to put them back to back so that when it is undone, it still looks pretty. So then we get the loop, we just add a little bit of a curve to it. We're going to want to fold either end. So we have 1 more spacer left, because this is a stack of 2 with the decorative one. This is 1 extra, and then we're just going to stick this to that. What we're going to do is the hook on the loop. I'm just going to start off by gluing on one side. I mean, to be fair, it probably would have been easier to do that without having the hook on in the first place. Just going to hold that till it grabs. You want some glue on this side.
Obviously make sure if you start gluing the loop to the spacer without the hook on, that you do put the hook on before you glue on the other side.
This is where red line tape is your friend if you are using metallic cord, which I am. So, to this, we attach the spacers. So they go on there. And then below the spacer goes this.
So that's the spacers we attach to the debossed area in the latch bottom, and then we glue the hook on the loop underneath that. So now to the latch top, we're just gonna glue on the lock cavity and lock face pile that we made earlier to give the hook something to hook onto.
That there, this here, you'll see that this should hook over like that. It works. That's approximately the centre point. the either side of that. So that's just gonna go on here. And obviously this one goes on the other side. Amazing. Look how cool that is. Right. That's first things first. Now we're going to do some cornerage. So the corners are made up of these pieces. And what I've done, because I'm using metallic, I've just applied some red liner tape to the little flap, folded all the lines, and then all that's going to happen, I just use a corner to mould it, fold down the flap, put the other flap over it, and just let it seal. And then we're going to glue them onto all the corners to get the placement for our bits and pieces. Because I'm doing craft, it's a load of glue. Very small amount of spluting, but we can just clear that off afterwards with a glue eraser. Also, this is the point when I realised that a cuboid has 8 corners and not 4, so I need to cut out another 4 of these. But I will do that off camera because dull to watch, dull to do. Right, so we have some cornerage. Next things next, we're going to do some luggage latch. For each one, you need 2 base, 2 loop base, 2 strap base. I'm just showing you one of each. A strap, so strap goes with strap base, loop goes with the loop base, and some prettiness for the end of the strap. A strap cap. It says use 1, I'm using 2, so it can just go on both sides because I am extra. So, first things first, this has 4 lines on it. So you're going to want mountains on the central ones and valleys on the other ones. So it's like that. And then you're going to want to thread that, I was going to say spread, that's not the right word. Pop that through here. Through the slits to the other side. And then just one through the slits to the other side. Like that. So you have a little loop. And then what we're going to do is just pop a bead of glue on both sides there to secure. And then, to make sure that's robust and not going anywhere, we put glue all over the back of this. place that on the back. Similarly, the other one, I want that curved edge at the top. And then again, I'm going to hide this behind here. Like so. And then all we're going to do is to the end of this, just going to pop a decorative end cap on here. One on the other side because we're double fancy.
So just make sure when you're doing your luggage latch that on the top part, the curved edges are at the top, and at the bottom part, the curved edges are at the bottom.
And so that's going to go there. That's going to go there. And that will just thread. Through here. We'll just speedcraft through the second one. So the next thing we are going to build is going to be the handle. And the handle is really, really cool because it's a proper little curved suitcase handle. So we're going to start off with 2 of these, and we're just going to quickly bend over all of these. And although it makes for a very impressive little handle, it's actually pretty simple.
So I'm just applying red liner tape to the front of the handle top because it's going to have instant grab on those little semicircular flaps rather than painstakingly having to glue each one with wet glue.
So that goes there. And then we are going to curve this all the way along. You can see with the red liner tape, it's just instant grab because I made a handle earlier and I did it with wet glue. I'm not gonna lie, it was a pain. And because I want longevity with this, the next layer I'm going to glue on because we're going to sandwich this inside. So I'm going to pop this on. So this is the other side. And again, we're just going to fold over. And you can see how incredibly easy that is, how quickly that just clips on without having to secure it. And then I'm just going to put a dot of glue onto each one. And then some glue down the middle. One that doesn't have any red line tape on. Probably should use this thinner red liner tape, but it's what it is. Turn it around. So you've got one flap out one way. And we're just going to stick this on top. So we have one flap going one way and one going the other. You can see that is the top of our curved handle. Now press it down at the edge. Make sure it's stuck all the way along. That is... Should not have taken both red liner tapes off at once. That was a silly plan, Hannah, because now it's just really sticky. I never claim to be smart. Actually, no, that's a lie. I often claim to be smart.
So now we're going to do the same with the bottom as we did with the top. We're just going to slip the bottom piece in between the two sides and fold over all the little semicircular tabs to stick to the red liner tape to hold the bottom piece in position. And if you are using red liner tape, only take one piece off at a time, because I took both off and it became an absolute nightmare. Just do one at a time and then it won't just stick to everything. So once all your flaps are stuck to the red liner tape, you can then run glue along either side so you can stick your second handle bottom over top of the flaps to hide all your workings and make the handle look complete and super neat.
So we're going to curve this, because these are going to be folded under. And then we're also going to curve the rectangular bits at the end of these, because these are going to be stuck together to make a little loop. What we're going to do, glue to one and just adhere the other. So just stick the two rectangles together. So you end up with a, looks almost like a plaster. That would actually, that's given me an idea for a Get Well Soon card. It's an excellent idea. All right. I'm going to let those stick. So we have to stick these together. Basically, anything that's metallic on this bag is double-sided so that it looks fantastic from every angle, because I don't want to have the white. Oh. I already glued that one together. I wondered why I was one short and had to recut one. No, it's because I did that one yesterday. So, put the curved sides in here. Then tweezers are necessary for this bit. So this is going to go in there, and I'm just going to need to hold it in place with the tweezers, because there's no way my finger's fitting in there. And then on the other side we're going to do the same. So just a little bit of glue on here. Pop it in underneath, and again just hold in place. And then this goes through there. And we're going to apply glue to this. We don't want an amount of glue that can be squidgy. Yes, that is the exact term. See how that makes it completely adorable little handle.
So now we're going to move on to the straps and the buckles for the suitcase. So we need 4 middle-sized straps, 4 of the tiny straps, 4 long straps, and 2 of the flaps with the holes in. And then we're going to have 4 buckle pieces, which are going to be glued back to back like the other gold hardware. The only metalwork that's not double-sided is the corners.
So the rectangular flap here, that's going to go on the inside because it's the same length as the lip. See? That'll go perfectly there.
So what we're going to want to do is stick the tapered end of the shortest side strap and glue that to the end of the long strap, because the wider rectangular end is going to be on the inside of the lip and the tapered end is going to be the bit that folds over onto the top of the case. So I put the shorter flap on top of the long strap, so it reduces the bulk of the join, and then I'm going to stick the little pointy bit with the holes in on top of that. My logic being, if I alternated the pieces, then it wouldn't just suddenly be a massive step up.
I had to sit for a minute and go, if I was putting on a belt, how does my belt look? Because I just had a complete and utter brain failure.
So if anyone else has a brain failure, it's the side without the prong that goes closest to the handle end. And then what I'm just going to do is I'm applying glue between the long strap and the flap with holes in, just so that the buckle doesn't fall off and to keep everything in place. So this is where I'm just going to do a quick speed make of the second strap, because it's exactly the same. Also, when I've made the second strap, I'm suddenly going to realise that one of them I made with the medium-sized side piece and one I made with the short side piece. So if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm removing the medium-sized one and reapplying the short one so they match and actually fit the suitcase. We all make mistakes.
So you'll see how that will go on there, fold down there, go down there. That will then attach to another one of these. It'll then go down there. We'll cut that tab, will go cut that tab off, that'll go under there, or no, longer one. And so on and so forth, all the way around. Okay.
So I'm just kind of placing my straps where I think they're going to to want to go in regards to all the other paraphernalia. And then underneath them, I'm just popping a strip of red liner tape so that I can stick it down in one fell swoop and not worry about it moving. So just before I stick on my straps, I'm just going to glue on my luggage latches because I don't want to not leave enough space for them. So we're just going to adhere the tops and bottoms of those to the top, to our lid and our base of our suitcase, and then we can stick the straps on. And because the back of these is just craft card, I'm just using glue for these rather than red liner. So now we're just going to stick our straps down onto the red liner tape, but just be careful to make sure you don't stick them all the way to the far side, because you're going to want to slip your tapered tabs of the neck straps underneath them.
We're going to need short ones for the top bit here. And because these are going to attach to the other one, we're just going to cut off at this tab here. So this little rectangle one can go, because we want to keep the tapered one. So what I'm going to do is peel off the rest of this. Honestly, sometimes I make this look like hard work. Pop some glue there. Again, don't stick down the very end. When will I learn? Honestly, just went through this on the other side. And then this one, we're just going to cut the corners off that. You see that side go over there. Glue that.
I find sticking these two on separately means you definitely have enough length for the side, rather than if you had attached them first and then put them on. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the front base straps, because that way you can perfectly line up your long straps between the front and the back, because the last thing you want to do is attach your long straps to the bottom, and then when you go to put on the front bits, find out you've gone wonky, and then the front doesn't look aesthetically pleasing. So that was my plan.
If you curl these slightly, makes them look more real, like they're really done up. It's at this point that I've remembered that what I should have done. Oh, I still can. It's fine. There's one bit I have forgotten, which is this one here, which is the little wrap that goes around to keep that in place. So I will quickly, so these, bend them there and there. We bend them on the little lines, and there's two. There's one there on there. What I'm going to have to do, because I'm a fool who didn't glue them on before. Let's tuck it down. I'm just going to have to cut these bits off so I can tuck it under. So I'm just going to say, had I done it properly, what I would have done is wrapped this around here and just had it like free floating, but I completely forgot it existed as a piece, so I didn't. In my defence, there's a lot of pieces, and it takes a while to cut them all out and make them all, and I just forgot. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna try and sugarcoat it, just completely skipped my mind. But there you go, that looks, I was looking at it going, something doesn't look right about this. Actually, you missed off a major part of it, Hannah. That would be it. Right, so again, fold it. And fold it. Glue it. And then lift it. Luckily, because I only put red liner tape in the middle of this and didn't glue the whole thing down properly, I'm able to fix this. Otherwise I just go, never mind, and forget about them and just not put them on at all. Because, you know, it's too short. And no one will notice. Well, I noticed, but other than that, you see, if you just lift that up a bit, then it suddenly starts to look real, because it looks like, oh, just that little bit of lifting it up. Yeah, it's more of a realism of it's just being placed inside. And the last piece of hardware we have to apply is our handle. Yeah, see, I wish I'd put those on the side and then I could have put the handle there, but I didn't. So, you know, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit, in the words of the great Tim Holtz. So, you know. It's not perfect, it's also a first attempt, so. Would I normally put this much hardware on a bag? No. Did I do that because I was trying to demonstrate all the different things you can do? Yes, very much so. And again, like I said, if they were on the side, I think that would be perfect, but they're not, so. And the only other thing we're going to do is we're going to do the other four corners, and then we're going to do some badges to put on the top, and then I will bring you back to show you the finished bag. So you can see from our suitcase here, put on some little badges. Let's go is like a running joke in my family, so I had to put that on there. Got a little suitcase and explore sign. And then I got a blending brush with a little bit of ink on and just dirtied up the edges to make it look a bit older, make it look less like it was just made out of flat cardboard, more like it's made out of distressed leather. That's because my suitcase has been scratched and battered and all sorts. And I've kind of flipped these up a bit so they look like they've actually been typed in. So once we undo it, undo these little catches. And we can undo this little catch here. And we have our perfect little suitcase gift box. I absolutely love this. This is probably my favourite die set in years. I mean, I've made a lot of lovely stuff. There's something I just love about a suitcase. I think it reminds me of when I was a little kid and I used to have like little play suitcases. And now my daughter's young and she has them. So this will be going in her collection, which means it will get trashed in no time, but I can just make another one, so it's all good. So this is how to make the Legacy Luggage gift box die set. If you wanted to make the trunk, you would do the same, except you would use one of these doubled up on the front and one doubled up on the back, and then the sides are made out of this die. 4 of them together would go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it would have a normal lid or a deep lid.
In fact, it'll just be easier to show you. So here goes.
Okay, so this is a little mock-up of the trunk. So what we have is we have 4 of the 5x7 bases. And then we've used the piece with the tab on the bottom that I showed you earlier to make 4, and they are just glued in a stack, 1, 2, 3, 4, up the side. Just remove a Barbie laptop from the situation. So we have 5x7, 5x7. We have the sides attached, 5x7. So they'll make your main box. And to attach your box, you need to cut some of the long beveled diamond pieces. So long one here, and then another one at the top here, because you have a flap at this end but not at that end. So then you'll be able to glue those all together. And then effectively our lid, I've used the bottom half of my suitcase. So deep side, or deep front, back, deep front, back, side, deep side, 5x7. So they're all glued around as normal. And then again, we will attach them like we did before, where you have the mitered corner stuck over the top of the straight corner. I'm just going to trim those off, and then that will make our trunk. So as you can see, I've just stuck it together. So we have a lid that will go on top like that, and then you will just need to cut some additional 5x7s out, one for the top, and then one for the back where I have joined on this. But other than that, that is your trunk ready to be embellished. I think I'm going to stick pattern paper on this and go to town, maybe make it a bit steampunky. But that is just your super quick how to change your suitcase into a trunk. Yay! I love this set. It's amazing. This just brings me utter happiness. So I hope that this tutorial has been helpful and has given you a little bit of inspo, a little bit of help on how to put it together. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. I'm never going to hate you for that. And I think it's your duty. I've provided a wonderful-ish tutorial. You can provide the like and subscribe. And if you want to buy anything from Tonic, I have an affiliate link in my bio. Doesn't cost you anything, but gives me a little bit to just say thank you for sending people our way. And which helps this little endeavour keep going. And yes, if you do make this, tag me. I want to see. I'm Mother Goose's Makery everywhere. And yes, keep crafty. Have a good night. Bye.